Greetings and welcome to the first episode of Halloween Horror Picks Season 3, the show where I recommend off-the-beaten-path horror movies for your Halloween movie night. I'm your host, Ryan Stockstad, and today we're going to talk about a gruesome, low-budget horror picture from 1974 that takes its inspiration from the real-life crimes of notorious ghoul Ed Gein, and it's not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Sometimes you don't want to believe what you see, but sometimes it's true. The story of a trail of butchery so brutal that newspapers refuse to print its horrifying details. When the horror becomes unbearable, it is too late to scream.
Deranged, the confessions of a necrophile. Deranged beat the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to drive-in screens by at least 7 months, showing for the first time in the US in February of 1974. And unlike Chainsaw, Deranged isn't bullshitting when it claims to be true. Much of what you see in the movie really did happen, making Deranged one of the most accurate films about the life and crimes of Ed Gein. No small feat, considering the sheer number of films that purport to tell his macabre story. Movies such as In the Light of the Moon with Steve Railsback, and Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainsfield, starring Kane Hodder. Not to mention countless films that take broader influence, like Psycho, Three on a Meat Hook, The Silence of the Lambs, and House of a Thousand Corpses.
Az, is that you?
Deranged was the brainchild of producer Tom Karr. Karr had read a detailed article about the Gein crimes and felt sure that a factual retelling would make a sensational film. Ed Gein was a shy and socially maladjusted handyman living on an isolated farm near Plainsfield, Wisconsin, when his domineering mother suddenly died and left him alone in the late 1940s.
Oh, you won't die. Honest. Please, Mama. Please, Mama, don't leave me. Mama, don't bleed. Don't bleed. No. Mama.
He soon took to robbing body parts from fresh graves in an insane effort to create a woman suit so that he could be closer to his dead mother. He would later admit to murdering 2 women, and Deranged devotes a big portion of the film to retelling these crimes.
There you are, darling. There you are.
Scum! Death! Death! Death!
Ezra! What's that? Ezra!
When authorities raided Gein's stinking farmhouse, they found that Gein had been very busy indeed. Among the atrocities, they found human skulls on the bedposts, furniture made out of human skin, a belt sewn together with women's nipples, a shoebox carrying 9 vulvae, and various complete human face masks.
See, Mama? All I got to do, stitch it on you.
Tom Karr was determined to tell the gruesome story as accurately as possible, but it's no surprise that authorities in Plainsfield, Wisconsin denied his request to shoot the movie in their town. According to Karr, the mayor of Plainsfield even went so far as to call Wisconsin's governor, Patrick Lucey, to complain. Lucey then called the production and told them in no uncertain terms that they would not shoot in any town in Wisconsin, and that if they tried, they would be denied permits and they would encounter all sorts of problems from the state police. so instead, the production moved to much friendlier Canada. Karr brought the project to Alan Ormsby, who brought it to Bob Clark. Ormsby and Clark had already collaborated on the satanic hippie zombie movie Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, and they were about to make the Vietnam zombie movie Death Dream, aka Dead of Night.
Hi, Miss Johnson. Remember me? I used to be in a Sunday school class.
Ormsby pulled screenwriting duties on Deranged, but he would also co-direct with Jeff Gillen, while Clark co-produced and also edited. I find it interesting that Bob Clark, after watching the movie's grisly footage, wished to remain uncredited. After all, he'd already made a movie called Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. It just seems out of place in his genre film legacy, a legacy that includes Porky's, A Christmas Story, and the groundbreaking psychological slasher 1974's Black Christmas.
This here could be real valuable information.
Why? What are you planning to do? Dig them up or something?
No, sir. Wouldn't have to dig it all up.
Well, I'm sure glad to hear that.
Sure, why dig it all up when you can take the parts you need?
Sure, maybe like if you need the head for repairs or something, well then just take the head.
Deranged stars Cossette Lee, Leslie Carlson, Robert Warner, Robert McHeady, Marian Waldman, Micki Moore, Pat Orr, and Roberts Blossom as the Gein-inspired ghoul, Ezra Cobb. Roberts Blossom would never again play a part as large as this, which is a shame because he's absolutely fantastic here. But he did have a thriving career as a supporting player, stealing his scenes in films as diverse as Christine, Home Alone, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Hi, what can I do for you tonight?
Just a glass of milk.
Well, this is a bar, babe, not a nursery. We don't serve milk here. We serve hard liquor.
I don't drink.
Oh, I see you came with the fresh air.
I came to see you.
Many of the supporting cast, including Robert Warner, Leslie Carlson, and Marian Waldman, would later show up in Black Christmas, and Robert Warner would later appear in another of my favorite Canadian horror movies, Funeral Home, which, like Deranged, shares many overlapping similarities with Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Deranged also has many obvious similarities with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, including a key scene in a pickup truck and a brutally unpleasant dinner sequence.
Won't you sit down, please, ma'am?
Mama, this is Mary Ransom. I think she likes you.
Deranged earns its reputation as a twisted 70s cult shocker, in part by pivoting often between deadly serious horror and black as night humor.
Good God! What in the hell is that? What have you been drinking, Ez? God damn!
Critics usually cite these shifts in tone as a problem, complaining especially about an unusual device the movie employs, where a narrator wanders through the film giving deadpan commentary and exposition.
After that, Ezra made many visits to the graveyard, bringing home bodies, or parts of bodies, to keep his mother and himself company.
But I don't have a problem with these scenes, and find instead they rather add to the texture of this very dark, very strange horror movie. So if you're looking for a gritty, off-kilter, cult horror movie this Halloween, I recommend Deranged, The Confessions of a Necrophile. Compared to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Deranged is not an action-heavy horror movie. In fact, much of the film's horror, and indeed much of the film's comedy, comes from Robert Blossom's wonderfully unhinged performance.
You know, the only thing that bothers me, I don't think she's, all there in upstairs. You know what I mean?
But gorehounds will not be entirely disappointed, in large part due to early makeup and effects work by a young Tom Savini, who earned his very first credits on this and Death Dream. Just make sure you pick up the 2015 Blu-ray by Kino Lorber. It restores previously censored scenes in which Ezra spoons out brains and eyeballs from a freshly severed head. There's also an uncut Region B UK Blu-ray from Arrow Video, and an uncut German Region 2 30th Anniversary DVD. But avoid the MGM Midnight Movies double feature with Motel Hell. That one is cut. Thanks for watching Pop Culture Beast's Halloween Horror Picks. Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe right here on the Pop Culture Beast YouTube channel. And look for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between now and Halloween. Thanks again for watching. I'm Ryan Stockstad. Watch horror movies. I'll see you next time.